Stakeholders in Nigeria's environment sector have come together under the African Climate Caravan to accelerate climate action and increase public awareness. The gathering featured the inaugural Climate Media Spotlight Award and Art for Climate event organized by the Global Initiative for Food Security and Ecosystem Preservation in partnership with Oxfam in Abuja. The Executive Director, Global Initiative for Food Security and Ecosystem Preservation, explained that effective climate journalism is essential for educating the public, driving policy changes, and fostering community resilience. To encourage such efforts, the event provided small grants to select journalists to continue covering climate issues. He also welcomed schools participating in the Art for Climate competition, marking its fourth edition since the first FCT Schools Environmental Festival in 2019.
As the world gathered in Baku for COP29, we joined our voice with that of Oxfam, 350 Africa, the ACJ, and all the partners in calling on world leaders to free Africa from the debt burden. Because for us, debt cancellation is climate justice. We call for debt swaps for climate damages and for local people to have access to climate finance. Lastly, we call on them to stop giving us loans in the form of climate finance.
The Oxfam Country Director underscored the event goals of raising public awareness in climate change inequality. He called on global leaders to fulfill their 2019 commitment to support African nations in tackling climate change. He emphasized that funds should come into the forms of grants, not loans, to allow African countries to build resilience without added financial burdens.
We want to bring together, mobilize our voice, mobilize the different messages from every corner of the country so that we could present this to the representatives, those that are going to the COP29 in Baku, in Azerbaijan, so that we can inform the globe, particularly the Western world, because these are the people that are, or the countries that are emitting so much of the carbon challenges that we're talking about here. Yes, we are affected here, but much of the things in terms of the level of how we are impacted, much of the challenges are actually coming from the other side. So we would want to communicate to them. And the whole commitment they make, for example, in 2009, they made commitments to support African countries with the funds. Those funds were coming to us in a form of a loan, which is not what we want. We want the funds to come to us in a form of a grant so that we're able to work on the issues that are affecting us so much. We are doing something, but not to the level. So there are a number of issues. As you heard, for example, the latest report that Oxfam published, and it actually touched on some of the billionaires in Nigeria in terms of the carbon emissions. So you look at, we're talking about the issue of climate change inequality. So the climate change inequality looks at who is basically contributing to the emission more than others. So most of these billionaires, they've got big vehicles, they've got private jets and all that. All that is actually making a contribution to it. So as a country, we need to do more, basically.
We are looking at a way to bring out a policy, a long-term plan that when implemented will address the issue of climate change within our state, and also to bring all stakeholders involved in addressing the issue of climate change. Most especially, the effect of climate change is evident, most especially flooding, arid encroachment, and so on and so forth. We have a lot of lists of them that we are facing deeply in Adamawa State, and we feel addressing such issues by bringing up this particular bill will bring up a policy, a long-term plan that when implemented will address these issues within the state. Passage of this bill will enable the establishment of a commission for climate change in the state. And I think that will address the issue. We have a governor, that His Excellency Governor Amadu Umaru Fintri, that is a climate change friendly governor that will address these issues in the state. I want to tell you Adamawa State is doing everything possible. If one state will get it right in the world and will address the issue of climate change, I think Adamawa State will save the planet.
One of the biggest challenges that women and girls with disabilities is institutional barrier. The legal frameworks we have, our issues are not captured in terms of disaster risk management, flooding, earthquake, and other climate crises. What are we putting in place in terms of emergencies? We need to ensure persons with disabilities are well taken care of on issues of climate change activities. Our issues are captured, our rights are given to us, and legal frameworks are inclusive. We need to create an enabling environment for persons with disabilities to thrive. Let's reduce all the barriers, the issues that are stopping us from thriving on climate change activities. We need to ensure we have representatives of persons with disabilities, especially women, in COP29. Doing this will have an inclusive global conversation on inclusivity and accessibility on climate change activities globally, regionally, and locally.